All right, ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to start coding this thing. But before we do, I want to show you one more thing. Answer this question. Why do we place the motor controller in the middle of the breadboard? What in the world am I talking about? Well, look, if this thing's right here is the breadboard, and we put the controller right here in the middle, and the reason is because, see, like all these are all hooked up, and these are all hooked up. Like if I put a pin there, it's connected to the pin over here, it's connected to the pin there. But this is separate. This one is not connected to this. This one is not connected to this. So at any rate, so anything I plug in here is connected to this thing on the motor controller. Anything I can put here is connected here, but this is not connected to this or this. At any rate, so that's why it's just a separation. Okay, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes a little sense. I don't know. If not, ask me. All right, next. Let's hold on. Skip this. Okay, so go ahead and open up the sketch from Google Classroom, and then we're going to go ahead and start coding this baby. Okay. All right. Let's go. So you should have something that looks like this, and what we're going to do first is we're going to do our constants, right? So we're going to do all the pins. They don't change, so they're going to be a constant. So we're going to say constant int a I n 1 equals 13. Basically, the pin is named AIN1, and it tells the right motor to go forward. What does that mean? Let's take a look at something here. If we look, oh, where is it at? Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I can't find it. Maybe it's up here. Okay, so if you look at this, that pin is named AIN1. Okay, and so this pin is going to send out information to the well, basically, that's not true. We're sending information from the Arduino to this pin, and then it tells the motor controller whether the it's to go forward or not forward. So if we send power to this, it's telling it to go forward. If we don't send any power to it, it's basically not telling it to go forward. Okay, and then the same thing, AIN2, if we send power to this one, we're telling it to go backwards, okay, in reverse. Okay, so if you look right here, AIN1 determines direction, and then this one here, the PWM, it tells it how fast it's going to go. So these are inputs. So we're sending stuff from the Arduino to it, from the Arduino to it, from the Arduino to it. Okay, and then on this side, it's sending stuff out. It's actually sending power to the motor over on this side. Anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask me some questions. All right, so yeah, so there's AIN1, and then we're going to come over here. I'll just copy this, paste it. So this is going to be AIN2, and that's going to be pin 12. Okay, so from pin 12 on the Arduino is going to that motor controller, and then this one is going to be the PWMA, and it's going to be the one, that's not going to be 13, it's going to be 11, and that's going to tell how fast it's going to go, either forward or reverse. And then now we have that little switch I showed you, so we're going to say int switch pin equals 7, so we're gonna send power out to our switch pin for 7. Or no, maybe we'll read it. Okay, so then we have our variables are done. All right, so that's it for our instance variable declaration area. So we set up our pins. They're constants because they don't change. And then our integer variables do change. And then this is our constructor. So coming down to the constructor, we have, we're going to say So pin mode, and we're going to set the AI and 1 as output. Okay, so basically what we're doing in this is the Arduino is from the Arduino, we're sending information out from the Arduino and into the motor controller. So since we're programming the Arduino, where's this thing at? Oh my gosh, I can't find it. Let's look at the hookup guide. Yeah, okay, so these are going out from the Arduino and they're going into this guy and they're giving the motor controller information. But anyway, so that we got to set those guys up as output from the Arduino. So it's like I said, we're programming the Arduino. Okay, so anyway, now we've got our, you can look through this and it'd be good if you went through and read what's actually happening here. That'd be good so you know what we're doing. So the serial begin is, so we're basically saying, hey, we're going to use that serial monitor, and then we ask the serial monitor to print this out. Hey, here's some instructions for the guys. Okay, and then now let's come down to the loop. This is what happens over and over again. And so we're going to get started with our if statement. So if the serial is available, basically is like, hey, has somebody entered something? Has anybody typed anything into the serial monitor? So you can type in the number for how fast it's going. Notice, by the way, I already have the opening and closing curly braces for this if statement. Okay, and so the next thing we're going to do is say motor. Okay, so you should understand what the serial.parseInt is. So basically, you have your global variable or your instance variable named motor speed. We set it up. We set motor speed up here. It's holding an integer, and so we say our motor speed equals, hey, get the thing from that the guy just typed, and then the parseInt just takes it and turns it into an integer so that we can work with it. Okay, and so we get it in a form that we can stash it into motor speed, and then we go from there. This one, I had to just kind of ignore this one. Leave it there. I had to do that to make it work. I have no idea why. I had to mess around with it, and that made it work. So we can talk more about that. Okay, and then you're gonna say that print out, hey, the motor speed's this, and then we have another if else here. So we have two possibilities. If the switch is on, then turn the motor at motor speed. Otherwise, turn the motor off. Okay. All right. So I think we've got all that. Yeah, we're good so far. Now let's jump down to the. So these are built-in ones. So void loop you have to have, void setup you have to have, and then the user-defined ones are ones that you add. And so we have spin the motor. So we're going to teach it. So we asked it here to spin the motor. We asked it here to spin the motor. So now we're teaching it over here to spin the motor. So we have our if else. So we have three possibilities. One of these is going to happen. Not two of them, but so absolutely one of these is going to have to happen. So the if, the else, or the else. So let's go ahead and program this. So we're going to say here, over here, so we're going to say digital write. So we're going to talk to this pin. So this is the one to go forward. So if we say, oh, hey, turn this one to on, and then on this one, we'll say, let's copy and paste that. Digital one 2 is low. So basically, if the motor speed is greater than 0, so we want it to move forward, so we're going to say, this is going to be low. All right, so if this one's on and this one's off, that means we're going forward. Okay, else if you typed in a negative number, you can make the motor spin backwards, and we'll just go ahead and paste that over here. So if this one is low and this one, number 2, is high, then that means we're going backwards. And then if they're both off, that means we're not moving at all. Okay, so that means, yeah, make sure they're all off. And then we're sending the speed to this pin. The PWMA is the pin that tells it how fast to go, and we're sending it to motor speed. Now, just to point something out, we're saying ABS motor speed. That's the absolute value method. That's the absolute value method, and it basically takes the motor speed and makes sure we convert it to the absolute value. So, because if it was negative, that wouldn't work in here, right? So we don't need, it doesn't want the speed as a negative, and so we're going to convert it from absolute value. So if it was 255, it would stay 255. If it was negative 255, it would turn it into a positive 255. So that's why we're using the absolute value. All right, let's go ahead and check it and make sure that there's no problems here. Uh-oh. All right, I have constant. Oh, crud. So that should be int. That should be int. That should be integer. So it's a constant integer. Let's try it again. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, look at this. Terrible. I forgot a semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. Terrible. All right, run it again. All right. Should be good to go. All right, let's try it and see if it works. Oh, make sure tool com6. Okay. Upload. Oh, here we go. All right, so here's the com. So I'm going to enter 255. My motor is spinning. I'm going to enter negative 255, and it switched directions. And let me see. I'll hit the little switch on the breadboard. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to try to get you to see what I have like no skill at showing you this thing. All right, that seems to be good. Thank you guys.